Hey everyone, I'm Tassenix, and welcome back to the long-awaited and much requested, much anticipated How to Mod Part 2. Once more, I am joined by my friend, co-host on the Plotting and Scheming podcast, and other mod aficionado, Dagger. How you doing, sir?
Oh man, really happy to get part two done. We had a confluence of events between the two of us where this was not possible until now.
That's right. I'd like to blame the delay in making this entirely on the floods that affected your area and not my compulsion to immediately spend whatever materials I get for marginal gains that I can apply in the immediate next week of Grand Arena. So I'm glad that this is squarely entirely on you, and we both agree. Everyone agrees about the nature of that.
Look, I remember wee little Task coming to me long ago asking about how to mod troopers. And even
Yes.
wee little Task back then could not hold mod materials in his inventory.
I was on a mission, and see where it has brought me. You see? You see? All right.
Uh,
So, yeah, guys, where we last left you, Mod Guide Part 1 was starting out just from scratch and taking us all the way through taking a mod up to 6 dots. All right. So, this video is going to be focused on the journey from 6E to 6A, which mods qualify to go on this journey. Some of them get to go all the way to 6A. Some of them don't need to go that far. And then we'll talk about calibration and some of the details around that. All right, so first, talking about going into the mods, 6E to 6A, like when you're doing this yourself, Dagger, how do you like to set up?
First things first, back out of the screen
Sure.
and go to the top middle and back out. Hit the mods tab right there next to all.
Sure.
Now, when you leave a character and go to a different character, your filters will stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying this is what I do first.
Okay, sure. All right.
So if I'm sorting by mods, the first thing I do is make sure my filter doesn't reset every time I exit a character.
I guess the way I'm usually doing this, I'm not unless I'm working character to character and I have a mission. I'm usually just going from this screen and kind of
Oh,
upgrading from here.
I just prefer to keep good habits.
So, yeah, I mean, saves you a bunch of time if you are actually switching between characters. Can't argue that. But I guess let's talk about. Well, what's the
So
way
I
you
also
like to do your sort?
I also have saved filter lists on the left hand side here.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do is the first thing I do is I have I take speed secondary, and then I take offense percent secondary,
Okay.
and then I hit filter, and then I sort by offense percent. This is what I care about more than speed, at least right now. Like,
I
you're going to
see.
want to do this for speed at sometimes too, but this is where I start because I care more about this at this current moment. And
Yeah.
you can do more toggling down at the bottom for how
Yeah,
many
I'm gonna
rolls
put
you
it
want,
on
how high
six
quality.
every. I'm gonna put it on 6 everything but A, because
Yeah,
obviously, virtually anything else would want the slice. So
yeah, and you
yeah,
can toggle, and really quick, you can toggle quality as well. So if you go back to that filter, my
yes.
quality I have set at 70%.
Yeah. You mean like
Up at
60?
Yeah, 60%, at least 60%.
I don't do that. I see
I'm
why,
just
but
saying
I
I
just
do.
want to see everything.
No. I'm just again just
No. You and I talking about the way that we differ in this is not. We're not arguing. We're telling the people there's more than one reasonable way to skin the cat. So that's fine.
And my
But
rule is 70%. I look for average 70% on roll.
okay, you know what? I'll
That's where I
indulge you.
start.
Let's go ahead and be strict today. We'll go ahead and do it like this. Wow, that boy, does that really narrow things up?
Yeah. Yeah, this is how you work on the best of your best. You mentioned in the first video that if you take something with subpar secondaries, it's going to have to work a lot harder to be good. And I use that same logic on 6A mods, where if you just take the best of the best, they don't have to work as hard to be good.
Okay. Well, when I'm looking at this collection of mods, there's basically two that are jumping right out at me right now, and that's this diamond on Kit Fisto and this cross on Tuscan. They're both pretty crazy.
I really like the circle that you have on the first order pilot in the top right.
Yeah, that one is a pretty cool one. We can take
And
a look at it.
Yeah. I
So
liked it because it's health on health with offense percent and crit chance. And
right. So
speed.
that's why it got to be 6 dots in the first place, right? We know on a crit damage set, crit chance is highly desirable. We had speed, a really great base roll of 6. So we had no idea we were going to get 0 rolls on it. But then we otherwise split evenly with percent offense. And yeah, this is very well set up to be a 2-suited mod. If a couple rolls, divert over to speed, so much the better. So let's see how this goes. As always, this is best taught through examples, so we'll just use this one to go. Okay,
Yep.
this is fabulous. This is fabulous. There's the unqualified success. All right. Boo. 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 I blame Dagger. All right. Next roll. Okay. A speed is acceptable. So obviously at this point, as soon as we hit 4 rolls on offense, and Dagger, feel free to comment if you disagree. But as soon as this was on 4 rolls on offense, I'm like a crackhead. Like there's absolutely no way
Oh,
this thing's not going to 6A in pursuit of that 5th roll. So it really doesn't matter what these other ones ended up being, because at this point I will spend reasonably 2 calibrate rolls to try and perfect the mod later. But yeah. What do you say, Dagger?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say basically what you said. It's like the only bad stat here is flat health, and that's not even that bad on a health percent primary.
Yeah, it's not the worst by any means. Okay, and then we hit another speed, so
Yeah.
we'll definitely be coming back to this mob when we talk about calibration. Um, we'll just sort by offense, and that one will come right up to the top. So,
One that actually pops out to me is that blue circle you have, protection circle,
yeah,
third from
yeah,
that one. Now the reason this one looks interesting to me is that it's offense percent, defense percent, and flat defense
mm-hmm.
on a protection primary. So this is like a kind of gas mod type thing. And there's a lot of characters that want gas style modding. So I do like that. I'm not saying you have to develop that because like the rolls don't look all that great on like
Yeah,
speed. Like, but I'm just saying that's a mod that I would look at personally, just because the you have so many characters like Gas, Balin's like Phelan mentioned on the plotting and scheming that Balin's going to be a bruiser,
yeah,
right? You're going to want bulk plus offense on him. You
mm-hmm.
have things like Riva. I mean, obviously Riva wants health more than protection,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have things like Sortie who want that type of modding. Talia. You have Night Sisters who want protection circles. Like that
Yep.
mod could be good on like Great Mothers. Um, like I said, there's just a lot of places that don't mind bulk on your offense mods, as long as you have that speed and offense percent.
Fair.
And one of the things you'll see me talk about when I'm looking at these mods, if there's only 2 stats that I want, for example, offense percent and speed, if the other secondaries match, I'm going to be far more likely to work on that mod.
Yep. This is a candidate mod that I was actually planning on doing anyway, and we can see why, right? It's offense set type. We got 1 roll to speed and got 11, so that's great. All of the other rolls went to percent offense. 2 of them are
And
pretty poor, but nevertheless, like a mod like this will have some type of good home. It will
and
be,
the non-speed, non-offense rolls are both
yes,
potent, both protection.
double
Exactly what I was saying
protection.
before.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Nice synergies in it. So let's see where we go. Boom, right off the bat. So this mod, like if I was gonna put this on a character that didn't really care about the speed, if I knew immediately that's how I was gonna apply it, I could stop here. You can, just like we said in the first video, you always have the discretion to come back and spend materials on a mod later. It's
I
who
would
needs
stop.
these materials the most? What are you trying to get the most of for this batch of materials you have? Now that we've hit the full offense mark, do I stop here or do I try
Yes.
and pick up the speeds? What do you say, Dagger?
I would stop here because until you have a place you want to put this mod, you don't know which stats you want more. So by slicing and or attenuating off or on stats, you're making the decision for this mod for it. As opposed to if you just leave this mod here, it's going to go on someone meaningful now because of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
And if you find someone who wants the protection, you can figure out which one of those you want.
Well, I'm saying when you talk about like mods that could be gas mods, I mean, wow.
Yeah. No disagreements.
I'll tell you
I'm
what.
just saying
The first
the fact
2
that you
rolls.
match the
Sorry.
fact you match the offense roll this early is the
Yeah.
only reason I would say that, because
Yeah.
you don't even know if you want speed on this.
All right. Well, like I was saying, I can always come back and roll it later.
Yeah, because what happens if you make this a 20 speed mod? Like, that's great. But then what happens if a character comes out in like a month where it's like, shit, I wish that this was 5 rolls and a protection percent?
Yeah, but then, yeah, I mean, I'm willing to let the chips fall a bit where they may.
I mean, we can work on it if you want. I'm just giving my take on it.
Well, what I was thinking was give it at least one roll. Okay, see, now we're already at the point where it's like, okay, stuff that I would want to attenuate this away. If I got a second roll on flat protection, I would feel like a heel. So I am going to stop there.
Also, go back there really quick. I just want to point something out. One of the things that I personally look at is those Monopoly hotels there. The second from the right material is my biggest bottleneck.
Yeah.
So if I can stop a mod at green, I do so because it saves those.
That's true. That's true. This first slice going from green to blue,
It only costs 10.
it only costs 10, so I'm usually willing to spend that one. That one doesn't bother me.
That's also a mod that I would consider attenuating right now just to get that flat protection off to see if I can hit protection percent or speed.
You know what? We'll work with this same batch of mods, but let's talk about other candidates. What I want to do is, are there any others with this offense setup that you think are worth looking at? Maybe I was thinking the one on Sabine. This diamond here.
I like that mod. The only thing I don't like about that mod is that it's a crit damage mod and doesn't have crit chance.
Yeah.
I think that's what you said, right?
Yeah.
No crit chance?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a fair point. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and slice counts. Yes, it's based on speed. Let's switch this to percent health now and see how things look different, right? Take a look at some other mods. Sort by percent health, I guess. That would make the most sense.
Also, for the record, that mod that was on that Ewok, I would 100% give that a couple of shots. The square.
The mod that was on the Ewok.
It had 1.1% health. So you have to go down further. It was like 1.1% health.
1.8? Wait.
No, it was a square.
A square.
I want to say it was a square.
1.63% health, this one?
It had like 140 flat offense on 4 rolls.
Oh. Here.
Yeah. Oh, it's on Cody. That one. The one on Cody. That one. Like that mod a lot.
Why? These are such poor rolls.
Yeah, but it's 16 speed on 3 rolls with protection percent and health percent, which was what popped out at me. And it has flat offense, which is good on an offense primary. But yeah, they're all bad offense rolls. I'm not saying no, they are. Right? I'm just pointing out that it's like still has an opportunity to be a very, very fast mod, and it's on a health mod, and it has 2 bulk percent secondary.
I respect that. We can look at it. We can look at it.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out that's just another one of those mods that immediately caught my eye because of the stats that are on it, not because of the quality of the stats.
That's fair. Well, let's sort back here again in terms of percent health and see. Oh man, this arrow on Daka is probably worth the love. Holy crap.
Yeah.
All right, so crit avoidance arrow. There's not a ton of characters that demand ones that are good of this, but when you can cultivate a few that are like this, where you get this solid crit avoidance primary, and then you can pick up some of that lost bulk. You know, like with Daka, you'd probably otherwise want this to be a health primary. So the fact that this has got 6% health, so, 1100 plus flat health to boot, and 11 speed, I like it. So let's see where we go from here. All right, protection, we'll end up attenuating this one away.
Also, you'll talk about this when you actually talk about Daka's modding, but she has a CA mastery, so CA arrow is just chef's kiss, because she gets up to like 60% CA.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. All right, let's go ahead and give the final slice. There it is. It was all worth it. I'll tell you what. I'll break protocol. I'll tell you. You know what? Let's see if there's any others, because I know this one I will be taking care of, so that's fair. And then we'll take off the excluding A filter.
I actually don't hate that triangle.
The one that's on...
No, the one up there at the top.
Oh, this one on...
No, the defense primary. I actually don't hate that one. I'd give that a slice. If you roll a 5 or a 6 speed.
I'll tell you what. One slice of this, fine. All right, that's enough out of
Yeah.
you.
No, that's good. I'm just pointing out
Not
anything
you.
that's
It's not
12
enough
on
out of you.
2.
Enough out of that mod. I'm done with that
Oh,
mod.
yeah, no, I understand. I'm just saying I like those mods that are 12 on 2 because people, I think, overlook those.
I
Because
respect
after you
that.
run out of 3-roll 16s and 3-roll 17s, that's where you look next. Your 2-roll 12s.
I'm trying to see if anybody else really
Same as
jumps
that crit
out to
damage
me.
mod. That crit damage mod on Omega, too. Good health percent, 12 on 2 speed.
Yeah, I stopped a long time ago because I wasn't that impressed with it, but I'll give it one more. I mean, I guess that's one of the okay-ish outcomes, but it's such a shit roll, you see?
Yeah, I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying that's a mod that I would have considered developing.
Alright, well, I think I'm cool on it for the moment. That was disappointing.
That cross that's on, is that which Sith is that?
Oh,
Third from
this
the left.
is this one?
Is that Marauder?
You said this one? This is Kylo Ren with the mask on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this mod's good.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not a hot priority for me because the stats, like I understand why you're saying that, really solid flat offense rolls on an offense primary. The percent health is great. The tenacity we could attenuate away, but it's already
Yeah,
two attenuates are committed to getting rid of this tenacity, and this is assuming nothing else goes crap from here.
I don't actually hate the tenacity on that mod, but I get what you're saying.
I'll give it one more. All right, you know what?
We only have 2 more slices left at this level, so let's hold.
Yeah, yeah, we are getting low on materials. Let's go ahead and check now with protection. All right. So I kind of liked that idea. I really did like that idea of how you're setting it up with make sure that we're working with mods that first have speed, then a desirable secondary as a priority. Do one at a time in priority so that you're applying the materials in the order of the mods that you care about most. So that's a good shot. Yeah, I like that. Let's
I
start
like that
looking
triangle. That triangle that's on the Geo Brute.
on the Geo
It,
Brute.
it has the same problem of having 3 crit chance rolls, but like I do like that mod.
On the Geo Brute.
I don't know if I would slice with what little you have left because we're trying to like
Yeah,
get
we're
great
trying
hits.
to get the most for our money. Let me do the sword here for protection. Holy crap, you're already good. Why? What is? Oh. Oh. Well, yeah. All right, that's fine.
The Omega one looked really solid too because that's prot, flat offense, and speed.
Yeah, that is a pretty dope mod. I'm not mad at that one. All right.
Hey, look at that!
Yeah, it's mostly dressed for success. We can take a look at that. Okay, that's pretty solid. I'm not mad at that at all. All right, that
Yeah.
kind of exhausts my materials. It's
Well, hold on. Let's go look at some of your grays and look at some of the ones that you just want to give a speculative slice to.
oh yeah yeah
Your
yeah for
16.
sure for
You have
sure.
a handful of those left, so we
We
can just sort
absolutely
by
can.
16,
We
sort by
absolutely
6E
can.
specifically, and then
Um,
yeah,
let's go ahead. Keep the
just
speed
hit reset.
filter on.
Also, you just hit reset to default, and then just redo your filter.
Well, this is pretty much all I needed to do, right?
Fair enough.
Just go back down to E. Take a look at some of the E grades. Take a look. Sort by speed. Uncheck this. Yeah, we already took that off. Um, yeah, sorted by
Yeah,
speed.
let's get some dopamine hits on these 3-roll 16s and 3-roll 17s.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not really wild about these first couple, so
Whatever. If they hit 22, 23 speed, you're gonna be fine. Especially that CA arrow. If that CA arrow gets fast, like that's
All
gonna
right,
be
the
nuts.
CA arrow I'll give a little love to. Okay, that's enough out of you. This one it is a 17. All right, fine. All right, that's enough out of you.
You got one more 3-roll 17 on is that Clone Sarge?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
We're just bricking left and
That
right.
is just you know what? It's been a pretty good evening though. Otherwise, for that, you know, we had some good rolls. I'm not that mad about it. Okay. This one's
The-
good.
yes.
Damn.
That speed roll, the speed one right next to it on Bodhi's actually okay too.
The prot. Yeah, I see why you say that. Oh, We are cursed.
Just for fun, slice that 6-dot diamond on the geo on the far left. Or no, that's yeah, the geo. That one.
All right. Yeah,
All right, well,
meets frickin' expectations. So if you saw Mod Guide Part 1, you saw me luck out. We got like a 27 and a plus 20 on that. Like, it was just crazy. Great
And
catch.
this is what it normally looks like. We're like, oh yeah, let me just spec on these like 3-roll 17s that are garbage outside of their speed, and it's like brick, 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 brick. Bah.
This is the consequence. Yes, this is what looks like when the other shoe drops.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. You said meets expectation.
Yup. I'll tell you what. This crit chance one. No, it's crit chance. Damn it! I was thinking for a second it was crit damage.
Let's find a 2-roll 12 to see if we can't like.
That's not the worst one on some fact, but.
Let's hit the crit avoid arrow. That's 2 rolls on 11.
Nah, I don't want to do that right now. I don't.
All right, what about the Talia mod?
Because it's gonna go to crit chance.
What about the Talia mod?
The Talia mod. That one's kind of solid.
Yeah.
All right, dig it.
I mean, it is speed, but it's like
it's a poor speed roll. It is, but you know, it was kind of what we were going for as a stat. So you have to take the money and run with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go ahead and set ourselves back up for the offense thing. Start talking about attenuation. I guess it's everything. We don't need any filter. So sort by offense, I guess. Or you know what? No. Calibration attempts. Let's try and stretch the value. So if you sort by calibration attempts, it's going to sort, by default from most to least. You can toggle that here if you want. But now I can see where my greatest value pickups are. This is a huge one, actually. Rolling away, probably the percent defense at first.
Probably the flat.
Yeah? Because I'm not stacking defense on this guy in any meaningful sense, so the flat feels like it does more.
That's fair. Yeah, flat will do more for his resistance.
Yeah. All right, well,
and
let's go ahead.
This is higher EV, because if you do get this to go into, like, speed, it's better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Probably reject this and keep that fat percent.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to have defense, having a mix of both is better than having all of one. And
now, I want to be sure that we end up. Okay, yeah, we'll look at. Oh my God, this one's insane. Okay, this one is nuts.
This is the one we just worked on. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and see what this one ends up becoming. Hey, that is a win. All right, it's not a solid.
Now we actually get keep it, obviously.
Yeah,
but now this is actually something that is worth mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the character, it might be worth trying to attenuate off one of the crit chances to see if you can get the low roll off to turn that into either better crit chance, speed, or offense. I'm not saying you have to do that here.
No, I wanted to make sure we talked about cases when you want to do 25, 40, 75. Like, these should all be increasingly rare. But this is one of them, right? So we got rid of a purely undesirable stat, and we really would have most preferred that this went to offense. But crit chance is by no means waste, and I do like the idea of trying to push for maxing this.
And you have a 50-50 chance of getting rid of a bad roll, so even if you do hit crit chance, it might be a better roll.
Yeah, so I mean, it could always go back to health and we could be completely screwed. But like, if it goes from crit chance to crit chance, we have a decent chance of getting a better quality roll. And then if it goes to either speed or offense, I wouldn't be mad. So let's see how this goes. We'll give it just the one, though. And we got it. And what does it take? It took one of the better rolls, one of the two better rolls.
But 7% offense is a good trade.
It's really nothing to be mad about. Yeah.
And the other thing to remember is, like, the reason why it was the reason why that mod is so interesting is because they crit damage mod. Mm-hmm. So by taking the crit chance off is a much bigger, I don't want to say risk, but much bigger deal than it
It's
would
a
be on
bigger
an offense.
ask, yeah. When you want
Yeah.
crit chance so highly, when you're running a crit damage set, it completely makes sense. I agree. Taking a look now at other low calibrate cost. None of these top line ones really look terribly interesting to change. I had been thinking about that arrow, trying to push the flat protection into offense or defense, but that seems like a pretty middling value. How about for this fives mod? Ooh, look at this one on Slacker. I could try to push the flat protection into offense.
You could actually do so. This actually be a good one for an example of what to do. Well, first of all, I don't like a health triangle, but I don't think I'd work on that on Slacker simply because. Okay, so this is another thing that I guess might be worth talking about for a bit. When I have mods temporarily on a character, I want to not get like rose-colored glasses. Where like, oh, this mod's on SOKR. I should really, really work hard on this mod.
Mm-hmm.
Where I don't always have Slacker in a health primary. I sometimes have in a crit damage primary.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't go all in on this mod just because of that. I don't
But
mind
I'm
the
not talking.
distribution.
So when I'm saying that, what I'm saying is, look at this mod. It has this flat protection, which would be the desirable thing to roll away on this mod, regardless. And I also
Is
happen
it?
to have it on Slacker, so this mod's application makes it a reasonably high priority to having something great.
I don't actually hate the flat protection there if you put this on something like Sortie. If it was an offense primary, I'd agree with you. But the fact that this is a health primary makes me less like chomping at the bit to remove bulk from the secondaries.
Okay, fair enough.
If this was an offense set mod, I would 100% agree with you.
Okay, I can hear where you're coming from.
I mean,
We
you
can
can still do
definitely
it if
look
you
at a
want.
different. I'm
I'm not
aware
saying
that I
that.
can still do it if I
I'm
want.
not.
You're
I'm just
not
letting you
my
know, and the
dad.
folks at home. I'm just letting you and the folks at home know that I am in fact not your real dad, and
That's
you will
right.
have autonomy over your own life.
That's right. Trying to see who else is looking good.
Oh, that sear. I really like that sear one.
The seer one.
The
Oh, trying
arrow.
to roll away a
The
tenacity.
tenacity into offense or prot.
Yeah, I can feel that. This is a good mod, and this one's long time been coming. Let's go ahead and throw a little love at that. So, in case, God damn it, God,
And it was a good one.
shit. All right,
Hey, but it was
fine.
a better roll.
Okay, well,
Look, small victories. Look, man, I have come to terms with the small victories that if it rolls the same stat and it's better, I'm at least okay with it being better. This game is the abusive girlfriend we never wanted.
I hate it. I don't like it. All right, who are you looking
We're
at?
out of the good offense percent rolls.
I
Well,
think
couldn't say
so.
there.
If you want to, we can take that off.
No, 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 no. Just don't filter by calibrate. Just filter by actual offense percent, and we can go down from there.
I guess.
Yeah. We can look at some of the more expensive. We can look at an expensive one that might be worth working on. Like a high, like because you still have a bunch of attenuators, so it might be worth looking at like a 40. Right. So look at something that's rolled twice or been attenuated twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Like these are all going to be maxed offense rolls, so you can keep scrolling down. Unless you want to try to roll that defense percent off on Treya for speed. But I don't actually hate the defense percent on that mod.
yeah, it's actually she has quite a bit of defense baked into her. That's why it's still there. Wow, that potency! Look at that thing.
I was about to say the IG mod looks really slick if you can like roll that.
Yeah, I agree. I
Right,
mean, these offense rolls aren't the best, but you could be a god. And you know what? I'll still take it.
I mean, demigods are still demigods.
I wouldn't even call that one all that, but yeah, I mean, I see where you're going
What
with
about
it.
that? What about that offense diamond there with 20 speed, second from the bottom, second from the left, second from the right?
Offense diamond. This one.
Yeah, this one might be worth a 40, just because
See,
this is all good rolls, pretty much, except for that one bad offense percent roll.
I agree. The issue, of course, being this is a 75 cost attenuate, which is
Oh,
why it is staying exactly where it is for the time being. If the day should
Oh.
come. So this is a good point to talk about it as any. The 15 and the 25 rolls, as you can see, are relatively cheap, right? Then the third roll is the combined cost of the first two. So let that kind of balance out where your priority is for going after that second attenuate. 15 and 25, they come easily enough. That 40 needs to be like, yeah, we're getting on. You know, we got to try and get that roll we're looking for. 75 is like, okay, we're all but two suited. We've got all of our rolls into the two stats we want, except this one roll at this point, and I've decided that there's no other higher priority 15, 25, or 40 cost rolls that I want to take on before I do this 75 cost roll. And then you apply that same logic the next step forward if you're looking at the 100 cost, which I have only done on my own roster maybe 4-5 times, like across all the mods, the thousands of mods I have, like 4 or 5 times ever, and I've never done a 150.
Dude, that's funny you say that. I think I've done like 175 ever. I don't see
vanishingly few.
I don't see the value. Once you hit 75, that's one mod basically 3 times.
I hear you. It's just there's some that ended up being so close to perfection, and I would say maybe 10% of the time it actually goes the way I want. So it's an incredibly expensive thing to do, and I only did it when I felt like I could, and so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of those people where like I don't think there's any mod on my roster that I can think of that is worth 3 attenuates on a different mod.
I respect that position. That is not an unfair position.
There might be a day and a time when I start doing the 75s, but they're going to be giving us more attenuators than they currently are when I decide to do that. Mm-hmm. Or if the packs come back, right, and you can buy like 200 of them for like $10, whatever it was last time.
Yeah.
Then I might splurge, because that's what I did that's why I did 75, is when I like could buy a bunch of them in bulk to use.
I respect that. Yeah. That's often when I've done it as well. Let's see. I'm not really seeing any winners here with this filter setup.
That triangle's fine. I'd look at that.
Where? Which one?
Oh, I don't remember. It was like on the second from the left row. Had like 7% crit chance. Was a triangle.
I already passed it by now.
Oh, there it is. It's the one on Talzin.
Oh, yeah, what about it? What do you want? I don't want to roll anything away from that, man.
Oh, I was thinking rolling the crit chance off, but I didn't realize it was on Talzin because you were kind of scrolling through.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the thought. No, that's too expensive.
Let's revisit that CA arrow.
Which CA arrow?
The one you sliced up when we were like working on it.
This one?
Is it that one?
I don't remember.
I don't either. I just remember there was a CA arrow.
Well, there was somebody with offense that was pretty high. But I thought we covered those.
You should have made a note of what mods.
Oh, this one, right? This one. But there's nothing. Yeah, I mean, we could try to slice away that protection.
Yeah, but this is the one I said that I wouldn't take it further just because you don't know what stats you want.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, that is true. That is a good one.
Yeah, that's one of the things I do is if I have something hits a max stat and like I don't know what I want, I usually just leave it.
Yeah.
Unless I have an immediate home for it.
I respect that.
The Fulcrum one, maybe take the protection off? The diamond?
I don't mind that. How much faster is she going to be? The thing is I don't want her. I think the reason I left this is that, God forbid, it does hit speed. I think that makes her faster than Malikos. I don't know.
I mean,
I'll think about it.
Okay,
I can move that. I could move that if I needed to. Let's take a look. Hey, you know what? All's well that ends well. Oh, yeah. That's the fattest one of the bunch. Where are you at now, big girl? You know what? Well, you know, she's up over 12.7, so that's a good look. Okay.
Also, I just want to point out that they announced the punishing one is coming down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're looking at his roster, just take note of that he does not have an R9 Dengar.
That is true. That is true. I do not, in fact, have an R9 Dengar at this time.
He is a bum. He is a bum.
I've
I only get
accepted
to say
mine.
that because I have an R9 Dengar. Because the moment they said it, I'm like, yes.
You are
They
filled
gave
with
me a reason.
envy. You are a man who
Yeah.
is just awash in jealousy. How about rolling away this percent health? We
Not on a
got,
health mod. Actually, yeah. I would
yeah,
get rid of the flat. Actually, I'd probably get rid of the flat prot first.
really on prot. So when do you bow out of that kind of synergy?
When red wants as much bulk as you can give him, and you
Mm-hmm.
have him at R9, and
Mm-hmm.
health percent is going to be more than a flat protection.
That's fair.
It's a character by character basis.
I mean, whatever. All right, this is where it stops, though.
Yes, correct.
Like, I don't touch this
But
mod
yeah,
anymore.
just for those folks on me, that's where if you're working on a mod on a specific character and that mod is meant for that character,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, tune the mod for the character.
Yes. Yes, always take consideration of where it is right now. I mean, you can always move mods around and needs will change, but, you know, Dagger makes a fair point that you don't always want to think narrowly about where a mod goes, but oftentimes, most of the time, I've found the way that you're trying to set up a mod for a particular character is most of the time the way that the mod wants to go anyway. So it's just about how much do you want to put
Yes.
in to fine tuning it to where you want it to be, and when do you spend those materials? You know, when do you
A
spend them
couple of
on this mod versus a different one? Sorry.
a couple of notes on flat stats. Flat stats start to break. It starts to break harder towards percent stats around R4, R5.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at like flat prot is going to be good until you're about like R7, and then an offense percent roll is just going to be better. So as your roster continues to grow, flat protection is going to lose more and more value because if you're R3, that flat protection is going to just be fantastic because it's going to give you more raw bulk than a percent stat for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of keep that in mind as well when you're working on your mods. That leaving fleet not attenuating off. So Tassenix and myself will probably attenuate off flat protection more aggressively than someone who's more mid game
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because we need that stat less. The same is true of flat offense. I have attenuated off flat offense and like flat defense and flat health. Like all the flat stats once you hit once your roster's an R7 floor, flat stats don't do much.
Yeah. You'll still be looking for like flat offense on percent offense. Synergies like that are of course highly
Yeah.
desirable, but yes, when it's flat anything else pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as, you know, just wrapping things up here. So, yeah, when you're going from 6E to 6A, the first couple slices, just like what we did in the first video, the first couple of slices going up from 6E to 6C, so going up to the blue quality now at 6 dots, are relatively inexpensive, and you're still applying the same logic that we used in the first video. You're looking at, okay, I have one major stat that I want the most, and then at this point, there's at least one other highly desirable secondary. Did my first roll get that slice? Get either of them? If it did, keep going. And if you end up maxing out both along the way organically, fine. But if you hit a bad roll, you have to stop and ask, okay, where I am right now, for the cost of this next roll, is the gain worth, you know, taking the risk on trying to get the right stat here, or just apply these materials a little bit more widely across more mods. It's usually the better choice to look at more mods because you can see the temptation just as we're working here on this video, looking at individual mods. This one looks good, but it costs 40 to roll. Ooh, it does look like a really good roll. Nah, wait. Go look at the rest of the mods that you have and look for the other 15s and 25s that you could have done for cheap. You could make so many more individual gains this way. So I guess that's it on yeah, going 6E to 6A. You're thinking about calibration along the way as well. Dagger, I know you had a comment about when I know you wanted to mention something about when you might otherwise attenuate a mod that has
Yeah.
not yet been taken to 6A. When do you tend to attenuate? Because I know a lot of players have that preconception that, oh, I need to have all of my stats rolled out on this mod. I have to take it all the way. If I've taken it to 6. As a starting point, I have to take it all the way to 6A before I start calibrating. That way I have the very best odds of having one of those stats maxed already off rip. But you don't say that that's a hard and fast rule, and expand on that.
Yeah, so why don't you filter your mods by green, by 6E green,
Sure.
6D,
Yep.
and then filter by speed. So reset the whole filter. We don't care about the quality of anything.
Okay.
Yeah, so just hit the reset and then just do 6 dot D, and then filter by speed.
Yep.
And then go down to where you have.
arrows.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just speed secondary is fine.
So,
All right.
Okay.
So scroll until you find like a 4-roll. Do you have a 4-roll 20 or 21?
No, I'm usually very aggressive about those.
Okay,
You will
so-
not find many.
All right, so let's go to the 5-roll 20, and we'll pretend that that's a 4-roll.
Sure. For the
If
sake
you
of
have a mod
argument.
that looks like this, where none of the other stats are particularly good, I would take that flat protection and try to attenuate it off into it. Try to attenuate it off into a speed.
Right.
Because I don't want to take this mod up, but it is a speed mod with a speed secondary.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of those exceptions Tass was talking about where you can, if this was a 4-roll,
A 4-roll
You put-
20 speed is what we're
4-roll 20,
thought
21,
exercising.
22. Yeah, 20, 21, 22 on 4 rolls. That is what, and it's on a speed set.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of the few exceptions to, I would take off one of the other stats to see if I can spike the speed, because I really don't want to take this mod to 6A trying to hit it. I'll give it the 1 slice to green, and I'll give it 1 attenuate, and then I'll bench it.
Very fair. Very fair. So, yeah, all right. So when you're looking at those mods, because we did talk about those in the first video as well, the ones where, look, it has good speed, but the rest of the stats are crap. So this is an extension of that thought. If you hadn't otherwise gotten that max speed roll, give it a one or two of those slices going 6E up to 6C, and if you don't hit speed by then, give it an attenuate or 2 trying to pick that up. And if you don't get it after that, I'd probably just stop for the time being.
Not every mod needs to go to 6A. Especially if you're trying to chase speed on like an otherwise unexceptional mod.
Yes, exactly. Any other, tips, tidbits that you want to include?
Set up filters in game. You know what you saw attached filtering? Set those up so you can just toggle them when you're going to work on mods. It doesn't seem like much, but saving yourself 30 to 45 seconds every time you work on mods will definitely, in my opinion, keep you more engaged with it, because one of the most boring parts of mods is trying to find the mods that you want to work on. Working on them is the fun part. So if you just eat your veggies and you build your loadouts, so to speak, you can just go straight to the mods you want to work on.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. I usually don't do the filters a lot myself because I like to look at the whole base. And I don't usually put on secondary filters beyond speed like what you did, because even if I see ones that aren't high priority, I like my eyes to pass over them, because I'm not necessarily looking for that mod that we just described that is a 4-roll 20 that has garbage secondaries otherwise. It would never show up in any of the filters we looked at tonight. And if my eyes don't pass over it, I'll never stop to think about when I'd like to give it a roll or an attenuate,
Yeah. One thing I also recommend is, I know a lot of people like to do the save your materials to work on mods. When you get there, save up all your materials so that way when you do build a mod, you can work on that mod until it's done. Mm-hmm. One of the worst habits I know I've gotten into is just leaving a character in my favorites to work on their mods, to attenuate them, to slice them. Mm-hmm. And then I'll forget what I'm looking for sometimes, or I'll end up taking the mod when I remod. Right? It's like, no, I'm just saying, like, though, there are some bad habits you get into. So when you decide to work on a mod, make sure you have the resources available to work on that mod. Don't just say, oh, I'm just gonna lock this mod, put the character in my favorites, and deal with it later.
Fair. Yeah. I mean, I usually try and keep my projects within a reasonable number. Like, let me just back out and show this to you guys. Switch off mod view. So usually I'll have not more than these first 10 slots with characters I'm working on for any reason at all. That would be me leveling up or like grinding up stars on a character. If I were doing that, that would include characters that I was thinking about developing their mods up to 6 dots, up over 6 dots, attenuation, if they're here because I wanted to take them to Relic 9. Like Dengar's on the list to get up to Relic 8 soon, and then 9 in the future when his ship comes up, because it is anticipated to be a front line ship for the start of the fight, and we've all long since known that, for fleet combat, having as many relics on the front as possible is, if not for speed reasons, usually great just for bulk reasons. Sometimes even dodge and stuff. But anyway, I keep my projects pretty few here, and that way I never forget why I have them here. So I like this one. We didn't do this mod tonight, and it's one that I've been wanting to finish up, but it isn't super high priority, and I liked the ones that we took up instead. But you can see here, this one I wasn't in a rush because even though we have this incredible percent offense that we got on it, the speed is whatever. I'll have to attenuate away this defense, and then we have no crit chance on it. So it's kind of, it's okay. The percent offense is amazing. It's amazing. It's nothing to sneeze at. But that's the only reason this mod's in the conversation at all in the first place, and that's why I'll get back to it at some point.
And just a note on the projects thing, I actually have a squad tab, where I actually have squads that have names of what they're, like R8 projects, R9 projects.
Nice.
Remod, right? Yeah, so it's all about how you go about organizing your roster. You do what you got to do to keep, how you operate and think best. And hopefully these 2 videos give you a good basis for how to do it. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we can do a part 3. I'm just going to tease this now. Hopefully we can do a part 3 of the how to prioritize farming and equipping unique mods.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm open to making a mod guide part 3. It would have to cover all the topics that the community feels we didn't cover here in the first 2. So that's great, guys. Everybody out. Sorry, go ahead.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah, exactly. Tell us what you want to see. Tell us in the comments. The link to my Discord is in every one of my YouTube videos, so if you're not already there, get involved in the conversation. Tell us what you want to see with that. Maybe by request, we will make a mod guide part 3, but these 2 videos were intended to give you all the fundamentals to grow an incredible inventory of mods. Hope you've all enjoyed yourselves here. Before we sign off, Dagger, any final word for the people?
I am glad, well, without sounding too cheesy, I'm glad we met when we did, because, man, it was a lot of fun to have you ask questions, and then there were some questions I didn't have answers for, so I had to go find.
Oh, yeah, I was voracious about it, man. I mean, but you knew that because you knew what I was doing all those years ago. As soon as I decided I wanted to actually get good at it, I was up your ass about mods, and I was up every other person's ass for any other question I had. And I was telling you about it.
Yeah, and I had to find some answers for you because you testing my knowledge of mods made me have to learn stuff too, right? Like, so you pushed me to learn so I can answer your questions, and now we learn together. Mm-hmm. And now we're teaching people together.
Absolutely, and that's a large part of the pleasure of us, being on the podcast with Sasha Aisha Fatal and TJ, because there is just us talking, just freely talking. It's we could just leave the mic running.
We are now.
There would be stuff that we would be able to gain from, and stuff that the community would probably enjoy as well. But anyways, before I ramble too much on in this video, thank you all so much for tuning in. Look forward to hearing what you guys want to see in the future regarding mods. But until next time, it's been real, it's been awesome, it's been real awesome. Take care.